Workers' compensation is a system whereby an employer must pay or provide insurance to pay the lost wages and medical expenses of an employee who is injured on the job. Sounds cut and dry, right? The truth is, workers' comp cases can be complex. And when it comes to firefighters and police officers injured in the line of duty, those cases are different. The laws and rights vary for our public safety employees, and it's important to know the difference.
The rights for injured police officers and firefighters are different than civilians because they get paid twice as much as a civilian when they're injured, and because of the nature of their job, the legislature has enumerated special rights for them. Our police officers are constantly in the line of fire. They're out there fighting a war, and they need to be treated like war heroes, and they need to be given the proper benefits. And they shouldn't be taking their sick leave away when they're injured. They should be taking care of these guys.
Regardless of the situation, workers' comp is one of those things you don't want to tackle alone. Luckily, there are personal injury lawyers focusing on working with police officers and firefighters who were injured in the line of duty. The expert legal team at the John Hall Law Group has a long history of success with these very unique cases.
I find that the majority of the public safety employees are not aware of their rights under workers' comp as they should know them. Many of them hear about them but don't realize what their benefits are. I go out and make sure I educate them and make sure they know what their rights are, because a lot of the police officers and firefighters, for lack of a better phrase, are more like the John Waynes of the world that don't want to admit an injury and don't want to be out. It is my goal to educate them because the insurance companies are basically out for themselves. The insurance company will try to talk them out of filing a claim for erroneous reasons, so they will believe that they're going to be covered when they actually are not covered. So I want to get out and educate the policemen and firemen and make sure they know what their rights are so they can be protected for life. When a public safety employee is looking for a legal team to represent them, they should look for experience. I'm in workers' compensation court daily. I know how to fashion my case to make sure that we put everything in the right place for the clients to make sure they maximize their benefits.
I've been a firefighter for 24 years. And my injury was a malignant brain tumor, brain cancer, from exposure to toxic fumes, diesel exhaust, various smoke from fires. I did not know that my rights were different than those of civilians. I contacted the attorney because on the way from one hospital to Georgetown, where the surgery was performed, I was afraid that I might not make it out. I'm immensely grateful for the help that John Hall's given me. He came to the house right after I got out of the hospital and got things started, so I didn't even have to go anywhere. He came to me, which was fantastic. He's kept me abreast of everything all along the way, which is great.
I was injured on duty as a Prince George's County police officer. My car lost the power steering in it, and I was spun out of control into the woods. And my injuries are, I am paralyzed from about the middle of my back down, and I've had secondary injuries because of the paralyzing. I didn't know what to do next, so I knew that I needed to hire someone who at least knew my rights and could advise me on what steps to take next after the car accident. I am very happy with how John Hall Law Group has handled my case, even now that I'm 10 years beyond my initial accident case. I have had a really pleasant experience with them, and they've kept me informed through various stages of the case.
Serving the Maryland, Virginia, and DC areas, the John Hall Law Group has over 90 years of combined experience in personal injury and workers' compensation law. Focusing on cases that involve police officers and firefighters who were injured in the line of duty, this firm is unique in the guidance and representation they provide to public safety employees.
We focus on public safety. That's what we do. Being accessible to the clients is very important because as a fireman or a police officer, they don't work the same hours that we do. They work shift work, whether it's midnights, day work, weekends. They don't have a weekend. So we have to be accessible to them, to go to them, or even going out on a midnight to speak at a roll call or at a firehouse to tell them what their rights are. The county fights them, every single one of them. The law is that they are presumed to be related to their jobs, but they still fight the cases, and we have to go forward, and we've won almost every one of them. The fact that they fight these guys when they're out there and they're heroes who fight for the citizens of the county and the state, it's really disheartening. And when I see these guys and what they've done and how hard they work to protect the citizens they serve in the state of Maryland, it really makes me driven to help them.
To learn more about your rights, don't stall. Call John Hall.